me today. We're going to prep this for painting, and one of the first things I want to do is just clean it all up. And so I'm going to just use some warm water with a little bit of Dawn dish soap, kind of degreaser. Simple Green works really well. I get this stuff from the dollar store. It's called Awesome, and it comes in a spray bottle, and it works really great to cut grease. Don't think that it has any grease on it, but we're just gonna do a quick wash with Dawn dish soap. I'm embarrassed to even say this, but I have to tell you guys, it wasn't even that long ago, maybe a year ago, I ended up with this little bench, and it was a friend of mine's, and she just gave it to me to do something with. And so I knew she had probably the cleanest house in Spokane. Like, her house is spotless. It's always spotless. And so I figured this piece is already clean. I don't need to do anything to it, right? Some people say you don't really need to prep furniture if you're going to use a chalk paint. I think you definitely do. I think no matter what, you need to clean your piece really well, especially if you're going to be reselling the piece, because you definitely don't want somebody to get a piece of furniture in their home and then the paint start to peel off. So here's what ended up happening. So I did a quick wipe down on this little bench, and I started painting it, and everything was great and fine. And I came back in the next day to seal it with some varnish, and the paint was sliding off as I was varnishing. The paint was literally sliding off the piece, and I couldn't figure out what in the world was going on. So I just tried to touch it up and add more varnish, and it just was like completely coming off in sheets. It was so weird. I've never had that happen before. I just put a bucket of water with some Dawn dish soap, and I got a rag, and we're just gonna wipe it all down. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you take out the drawers and make sure that the runners are clean, that everything works, that the inside of the drawer is clean. So I ended up talking to somebody that knows her. I'm not gonna say. I ended up talking to somebody that knows her, and she said, oh yeah, she like loves Old English furniture polish. Like, she coats everything in Old English, is that what it's called? Old English furniture polish. It's kind of like a oil, and you rub it on your furniture and it gives it a really high gloss. Yeah, guess what? Paint doesn't stick to that. It doesn't stick to it. I know that. Just take that extra precaution and open up everything and completely, even turn it upside down, make sure that there's no anything gross in there. You want your customer to feel like they're getting basically a brand new piece of furniture. So here's what I ended up having to do, and this is such a sad story. I ended up having to basically wipe all the paint off, and it wasn't just paint. I had painted it, I had blended it, I had added some different glazes to it to make it super pretty. It wasn't just one color of paint. This little bench literally took me 2 days to paint, and here I am wiping paint off, like just coming off in complete sheets. And then I want to show you anything that needs repaired on this. You want to go over it again with a clean wet cloth with just plain water on it and wipe it all down. Right here where it's chipped off a little bit. And so we're going to repair that really fast, and then I think that's the only thing on this piece. There's a little bit right here too that I think I'm going to fix. Right here. I'll fix that too. And then also, while you're cleaning, you want to really get in these edges. Then what I ended up doing was washing it really well with, guess what, Dawn dish soap and water, washing it completely off. Then I felt like I better primer it too, just to make doubly sure. So I primered the whole entire thing then I had to repaint it. So the moral of this story, I guess, is don't ever just trust that something, just because it came from somebody who is super clean, doesn't mean that you're gonna be able to just take it and paint it. You're just may or may not. You can take that chance if you want to, but I'm telling you, I'm not going to do it again. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work and a lot of wasted paint. And nope. How long does it take to wash down a piece? I don't know. It's not that long. But yeah, that's the moral of that story. So prep your pieces, people. Just prep them. Okay, so what I like to use to do any kind of repair on my pieces of furniture, and this goes for any kind of chips or anything that just needs to be filled up, or cracks, things like that. I like to use this Bondo, and it comes with a creamer hardener, and I will show you how to mix it. This isn't going to take as much as what the directions say to use. The directions say to use a 3-inch diameter and then do a 3-inch strip of the hardener on it. But this piece is really only going to take a tiny bit of the Bondo. So we're just going to guess and just use a very small amount because I don't want to waste my Bondo. And then I'm just going to put a little drop of this in. Then you stir it in really good. You don't really have very long to work with this before it starts to dry, especially if you're doing a very small amount. So I'm going to just get this stirred up and we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to apply it to the piece. Is we're gonna take our little spatula scraper and we'll just put a little bit on scraper. I'm just going to scrape this on over the laminate that's chipped, or veneer. I guess it's veneer, right? And I'm going to try and get it as flat as possible because that will just speed up your sanding process. That's all there is to it. When it dries, it takes about 15 minutes to dry, and then you can sand it. I will clean it again with just a damp cloth with just water on it, and then this will be ready to paint. If you are working on a piece that is super shiny on the top, or you get these pieces that maybe aren't real wood and there's a lot of shine to them, you can do a scuff sand on it to give the piece some tooth so that the paint will adhere better. But basically that's all there is to it. Once this is dry, in about 15 minutes, we're just gonna sand it and it'll be ready to paint. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you will like and subscribe and come back. I'll see you next time.